Welcome back to the channel. Today is a special day because we are celebrating CM Punk versus John Cena in every WWE game that they appear in. Let's start all the way back in the best-selling WWE game of all time, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. He is the greatest of all time. The WWE champion in this game anyway. John Cena. And you know, this is probably one of Cena's best looks. I know this is like maybe a little bit controversial, but I quite like this, 2007-8 style Cena with the chain gang, and he was probably doing the, what was it called, the bite this, or was it the chain gang questions or something? Man, early days internet, huh? Also, that WWE title is tiny. The real belt is bigger than that. I'm amazed that they got away with such a small belt for such a long time. And who's this rookie, right, with his long greasy hair? Well, actually I've got greasy hair, but his long greasy hair and his little goatee with his piercings and his stupid tattoos. This is the first game that CM Punk appears in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 as part of the ECW roster as well. The bell rings. We are officially underway with the CM Punk versus John Cena in every WWE game. This is 2008, as mentioned. The first game that CM Punk appears in, but not the first game John Cena appears in. He actually appears in Here Comes the Pain is John Cena's first game, but yeah, can't go back there because we don't CM Punk wasn't there at the time. Although now that I think about it, I do think Punk probably had a few dark matches around about that time, because Punk had I feel like Punk might have had a WWF match. I'm not sure. I need to look up the WWE Vault YouTube channel. It's like the best channel on YouTube, honestly, if you like really random, obscure wrestling trivia or old wrestling matches and stuff. The WWE Vault is like the best thing ever. But yeah, they have a treasure trove of really old matches, and I feel like there was a CM Punk dark match unveiled a while ago. It's either Heat or Velocity, but maybe it wasn't WWF, maybe it was WWE. There's been some really cool uncovers as well. Like, I'm kind of going off topic here, but there was like Samoa Joe, I think, and AJ Styles had some really early, like maybe WWF dark matches. I think there was also one with like John Moxley as well. John Moxley had a really early dark match before in like Velocity or something. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. So going through their 2008s, I don't remember Cena having a particularly good 2008. I seem to remember, oh man, Cena went for the SDF there, and CM Punk definitely reversed that. Cena 2008, I feel like wasn't very good, because if I remember correctly, he spent most of 2007 facing Edge, or maybe I'm thinking of 2006. But either way, there was definitely, Edge cashed in Money in the Bank, right? And then had this just never-ending series with John Cena. And every single match that they had, they traded the belt as well. So I remember at New Year's Revolution, right? Edge cashes in the briefcase. He wins the briefcase in the Elimination Chamber match, and it's awesome. It's amazing. And then a month later, I guess Cena takes the belt back. In fact, I think it was like a week later, if I remember correctly. Cena takes the belt back. He then goes to WrestleMania and defends the title against some other person that I can't even remember. It would have either been the match with Shawn Michaels or the match with Triple H, I guess. Triple H and Randy Orton. Nah, it wasn't that, because Orton had the belt at that point. Either way, yeah. It led into, I guess, a WrestleMania, and then they had a SummerSlam match where I think Cena won the belt. No, Edge won the belt at SummerSlam because it was in Canada or something, and then Unforgiven was in Boston, and then Cena won, or maybe it's the other way around, but either way, they were trading belts in each other's hometown, and they were trading belts all the time. And I think there's some stupid stat, I heard it recently, that like within, I think it was in 2007 or 2008, that Cena had 6 title reigns. So when he's, never seen 17 and he's going about, his 17th title reign, just remember that like 6 of them were in 1 year. So in fact, I'm pretty sure that like Bret Hart is like a 5-time WWE WWF champion, which means that Cena potentially broke Bret Hart's record in 1 year, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad, to be honest, because doesn't that just mean he lost the belt, you know, 5 times? As I'm rambling there about pointless wrestling stats, CM Punk did hit Cena with a GTS, but did not actually capitalize on it. Ended up going, well, for nothing. He was going against the ropes, but he did hit a picture-perfect GTS there. So I have to admit that 2008 is just the most uneventful game ever, right? So I'm rambling and I'm ranting and I'm talking about something fairly interesting. The only reason I'm doing that is because 2008 just doesn't have a lot going for it, right? I think the matches are fun to watch for the most part, but like I always go back to that New Legacy video. I think there was a New Legacy King of the Ring video, a New Legacy Inc. King of the Ring video, sorry, and it was like CM Punk and Carlito, and it went on for like an hour. And it's just because like the AI in 2008 just doesn't know how to win the match, I guess. They constantly fight and they constantly reverse each other, and it just, maybe the proof was in the pudding there. He hit the GTS and then didn't go for the pin, so I guess we're here for the long haul. Oh my god, Cena going for the attitude adjustment, the FU in this game. Is he actually going to go? I've just sat here for the last like 5 minutes, but not even saying anything. And it just occurred to me that Cena had a finisher. Punk, I don't even know if Punk's damaged. Like the whole time I've been watching this, Cena is like, oh my god, he's going for another submission. Like, I've not shown any of it, but Punk is just constantly doing the submission. He obviously must be a submission specialist, right? But I don't know, Cena's not really damaged. I can't believe Punk took a FU and he still hasn't even got any limb damage. Like, oh man. This game doesn't show the timer on screen, but I don't know, it's probably been about 8 minutes, let's say. I mean, 8 minutes isn't a long time, right? I mean, a real wrestling match is probably about, you know, 10, 15 minutes, so 8 minutes isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things, I suppose. Punk has finally gotten John down to an amber or orange head damage, so that's good for, I guess, good for a GTS. I know that Punk also has a sleeper hold submission that he likes to do, and he's going to target the he's going to target the chain gang down there. This move is easily abused in this game, by the way, because you can pretty much get someone to red limb damage if you do that enough. I don't remember if this game has a stamina limit or not, but if it does, you just turn the stamina limit off and it means that you just do like crazy damage. Oh, I thought Punk was going to go for a GTS there off of that drop kick, but nope. As Cena attacks, knocks Punk out of the air from the top rope. As you can tell, I'm very enthused by this match. I just need it to end, to be honest. I should have known that starting this with 2008 was a bad idea, but we're going to go sequentially. We have to do it. So, starting with 2008, I guess we're getting the bad out of the way first, right? Not that it's bad, but it's so slow. And I just want something fun. Also, Punk has been beating the shit out of John Cena. And like, he's not even trying to win at this point. Like, oh, now he's trying to win. He's punching the shit out of him. I think, oh man, I thought Cena was pretty close to red head damage there. And if he's close to red head damage, one GTS or one sleeper hold is gonna take Cena down. I think Punk is finally at yellow head damage as well. So that just goes to show that in 8 minutes, Punk is laid in the offense and gotten Cena in pretty bad state here, but man, Punk is just not capitalizing at all on the damage that he's doing. Punk has a finisher. If he can get John in a position here and he has him up for the GTS, that's the go to sleep if you didn't know what that meant. Cena down for a snooze, Punk going for the pin. That's gonna be a 3 count right there. That was actually really, really quick. That sounds silly considering the complaining I've just done. I meant the sequence of going from the GTS to the pin was really, really quick. It wrapped up. They went home really quick. I'm gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna shut up. CM Punk capturing a pretty decisive win to start off this tournament. Next up, we are heading into 2009. I'm very sorry for interrupting the video. Don't worry, this isn't an ad, but I'd like you to know about something coming up very, very soon that you might be interested in. Running Running between July 25th and July 27th, we are running the annual Docky93 fundraiser 2025. We are fundraising for the St. Columba's Hospice here in Edinburgh. But what does that mean for you? You're going to get to see 3 full days of entertainment and exciting, weird stuff that you're going to see. Produced and directed by myself with a team of other people and hosted by Docky93. If you do want to donate and participate, some of the rewards include board games or an exclusive custom Guitar Hero controller. Some of the activities that will be happening on the day include how many shirts can Docky wear. It didn't go well last year, it's hopefully going to go better this year. Last year, we also saw the trauma-inducing hot dog segment, which involved Docky being dressed as a hot dog and covered in various out-of-date toppings, which was probably the most disgusting thing ever. This year, we're going to be doing the ice cream sundae, which is a very similar situation. Last year saw What's in the Box, and this year we'll be doing something very similar with blindfold taste testing Scottish foods. Last year, we raised 5.5k, and we want to break that record this year. The upper limit, the highest possible goal, is 6,290, and that will get Docky on a skydive. So again, sorry for interrupting the video, but just so you know, this live stream is happening between July 25th and 29th. It will be on all streaming platforms, and you'll be able to find it from my socials as well. So check the links down below to either donate or to see some of the chaos that ensues over that live stream. See you there. Welcome to SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Do I have commentary on again? I always forget to turn that off. Anyhow, this is the World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk entering here at Night of Champions. Also, the belt looking far too small again. This is obviously post Money in the Bank cash-in, right? So Punk wins the Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 24, cashes in on Edge, and then he holds this World Heavyweight Championship for a story I will get into shortly. You know what I didn't really mention, but CM Punk's shirt in this game, such a good shirt. This shirt though from Cena, I'm not really. This is when he came back at the Royal Rumble, right? The Royal Rumble 2008. He came back, the crowd went crazy, but I mean, this game the crowd's dead quiet. I don't know what's going on here. There's no sound whatsoever. Yeah, not champion at this time. Interesting. I don't know who the WWE champion is in 2009 game. It's already way faster than 2008. In fact, I'm constantly amazed at how slow 2008 looks. When you're playing it as well, it feels horrible. But you know, 2009, much better improvement. This is like lightning fast, right? The guys have already taken it outside the ring. CM Punk. Oh, well, you know what, already? Oh, okay. I was going to say, up to the count of 5 and CM Punk lifting Cena on his shoulders. You know, this game might actually look better as well. It's not until you put the two games side by side that you're like, wow, one definitely looks better than the other. 2009 does look a little bit better. I know I just did a 2009 retrospective video this week, I believe. And, yeah, like, I changed my recording setup, so I'm not really sure if this maybe looks slightly better now. I always thought the lighting in this game looked a little bit weird. Everything has this weird, like, kind of dark lighting to it. Maybe Punk's just tanned this year. I'm not really sure. It's definitely a better model for CM Punk this year. Oh, of course, so the story for CM Punk as well. So CM Punk he wins the WWE Champion or the World Heavyweight Championship from cashing in against Edge, right? And then he basically holds the belt for the better part of the year. I don't know when he cashed in, but I guess WrestleMania was April. And he promptly loses the belt, I believe, in October, maybe November. I don't know why I remember all this. But anyway, was it not that I remember they did a screwjob angle at a pay-per-view called Breaking Point this year, I'm pretty sure. And that involved The Undertaker. Now, The Undertaker apparently, I'm going to keep talking for this because I think Punk might kick out of this, but yeah, CM Punk apparently disrespected The Undertaker. I think The Undertaker had seen that Punk was kicking about with the World Heavyweight Championship wearing, you know, tracksuits and hoodies and all this random, you know, comfort clothes. When he was turning up to the building doing media appearances, Punk was dressed like CM Punk, and Undertaker took offense to this. He basically said, you're a champion, dress like a champion, you're representing the company, so you know you have to hold yourself in like a higher kind of respect, essentially. So Punk being Punk decided that he was going to be rebellious and he wasn't going to dress like The Undertaker had suggested, and Undertaker then promptly complained to the boss at this point, and thus the CM Punk Undertaker storyline started back in 2009, I guess. And yeah, as I mentioned, I feel like it was a submission match at Breaking Point, and I feel like Punk might have won that, but I'm pretty sure it was like the next pay-per-view, whatever that would have been, what, Survivor Series or something. I'm pretty sure like Undertaker just destroyed CM Punk and took the belt off him. Like, and I don't even remember Punk getting a rematch or anything. Like, it was just straight up like he got buried, like big time. But you know what? If you're gonna represent the company, I can totally understand cleaning up your look a little bit. But I also understand if the Undertaker gives you advice, the fucking Undertaker, then I would 1000% take that advice. I can't believe that Punk decided to argue against someone like The Undertaker. On the flip side though, I do not remember anything from John Cena's 2009. I mean, this is definitely WrestleMania 24 to 25 territory, so he's having matches with like Edge and Big Show. He starts, at WrestleMania 24, he faces Randy Orton and Triple H. In fact, 2009, he probably faces Orton quite a bit. Going back to the we got the SDF here as well. Oh, SDF, there we are. Punk gives up, and I don't even need to talk anymore. I'm pretty sure 2009 was very much a Cena Orton year, and I made a video about that. So in 2008, we have a major win from CM Punk, but Cena bringing it back in 2009 with the SDF submission victory. But what does that mean for SmackDown vs. Raw 2010? Welcome to the first version of Night of Champions. This seemingly happened for the first time in 2009 or 10. I didn't realize that was the first time it happened, but we have the first appearance of Hustle, Loyalty, Respect. I don't think that was on the shirt before, but we have again a championship-less John Cena arriving in Night of Champions. That was like the worst intro ever for John Cena, but whatever. CM Punk here rocking the silver trunks. I don't know the relevance of that. I'm sure he would have worn it at some major event that year. Usually they do pick out the WrestleMania attires for the characters, but I don't remember seeing the silver for CM Punk at this time. Also realizing that CM Punk is completely Pepsi-less in this game. They didn't even do the fake tattoo, which they do today in the WWE games. But yeah, this is 2010. I'm not the biggest fan of this game. I'm kind of spoiling it for future retrospectives, I suppose. But I don't know. This game is... I like some of the gameplay choices. I like Road to WrestleMania, but man, the camera system during the matches is not great. I'm not a big fan of the way the camera moves and pans around. But, you know, credit where credit's due. The game runs well. It looks good. It plays well. The game modes are okay as well, but I just think that in 2009 they removed General Manager mode, right? They removed GM mode, which is one of the biggest modes, or one of the most replayable modes, I guess, in the game. They removed it. So then 2009 kind of suffered from that as well, where they didn't really make any major gameplay improvements until 11 and 12. In game modes, they just improved the Road to WrestleMania and didn't really add any other game modes. Although, saying that, Story Designer came into the game probably around about this time, so I think maybe Story Designer was a thing in this game, or 2011. But yeah, we need to absolutely do a deep dive into Story Designer because it's such an awesome game mode. And I talk about GM mode, but Story Designer was just like next level. If there was a perfect world where they didn't get rid of GM mode, but somehow like mixed in Story Designer with GM mode, oh my god, it would have been amazing. Even now with Universe mode, if they had like a Story Designer where you could use the Universe mode cutscenes and create your own storylines, oh my god, that would be amazing. I have completely forgotten if I have selected a random specialty match. I was thinking about doing a First Blood match, but Cena seems to have brought in a chair to the ring, so I'm going to presume that this is a First Blood match, and I have just forgotten. I thought maybe single matches the whole way would be pretty boring, and what I've done before is I've looked at the real world parallel, right? I've tried to see what they were doing in real life, but unfortunately Punk and Cena have not actually had that many matches together. I think in total, according to Cage Match, they've had 31 matches, but that includes things like Royal Rumbles and Battle Royals and some other tag team matches, and I think it includes some house shows. In fact, no, this is all just TV matches. But yeah, like TV and pay-per-views, they've only had 31 matches, and that includes, what, 3 Royal Rumbles together? And a couple Battle Royals? I don't know. They haven't had a lot of matches together. To bear in mind, though, the matches they had have been incredibly special. Oh, Cena with the Sabu leg drop. Rest in peace, Sabu. That's going to do some insane damage to CM Punk's sternum, I guess, at the very least. It could do some head damage, though. Punk is really struggling to hit Cena here. He's going to keep trying, though. One day they're going to hit each other. One day. We could be here a while, though. Well... Oh my god. Why does this always happen? There we are. Cena finally gets clocked with the chair. Why do these things always happen when you play the WWE games? CM Punk's 2010 is probably not a very good year. I think he was kind of in the doghouse at this point. This is very much pre Straight Edge Society, right? And contrary to that, Cena's probably having a very good year in 2010. I'm trying to think who he would have been facing. So going into WrestleMania that year, I think he was, well, this is WrestleMania 25, so he was facing Big Show and Edge. I've also got a feeling that he was going into... Well, he was going into the next WrestleMania to fight Batista. But what he did in between, I can't remember. Like, there must have been quite a few matches with Randy Orton again. 2010, I mean, this is like bragging rights. I don't know. Maybe he was just like floating by doing random title runs and all other things. But Punk especially, I don't remember him doing anything this year. I think he has a really good match with Rey Mysterio, and he definitely starts the Straight Edge Society, but according to CM Punk's DVD anyway, the reason the Straight Edge Society existed was because Punk was sick of being being left aside during SmackDown. He was on SmackDown, nobody was using him. So according to what Punk had said, according to the story, Punk had wrote himself like 30 weeks of TV. He basically wrote the format of what he wanted to do for 30 weeks, which included the Straight Edge Society. So he typed it up, he printed it off, and then he just slammed it down on Vince's desk and said, that's what I'm doing for the next, 3 months, or, well, 30 weeks, it's like half a year. But yeah, he essentially just said, this is what I'm doing for the next wee while, and it turned out to be really good TV, and he did actually end up, according to the story, he ended up doing the vast majority of it. How does Cena have 3 finishers? He just hit 1 signature. Well, I could only assume then that Cena has somehow won this match, because to be fair, he has been wailing on Punk, but yep, that is it, and that is by way of First Blood. So it was a First Blood match, I had forgotten. Cena drawing blood on the Straight Edge Messiah, taking Punk out with his own blood. Cena now up 1 win. Can Punk come back? As we head into our very special bonus game. Welcome to WWE All Stars, our bonus game in this video. Yes, both characters appear within All Stars, and whenever I play these games, I always forget to play All Stars and Legends of WrestleMania. I don't want to play Legends of WrestleMania because it sucks and I've just played it, but All Stars, I'm more than happy to play. So sadly, there is no way to actually do a... there is no way to do a AI-driven match in All Stars. You have to play one of the characters, which is fine. So I have opted to go to CM Punk, reason being that he is on the losing side, right? Cena just beat him twice, so we are oh god. So if you've never played this game, which I can understand if you haven't, there's quite a lot of history to this game. So there is a company called Midway San Diego. I'm only doing the one move over and over again. There's a company called Midway San Diego, and they made a little game called TNA Impact. Why am I just doing the one move over and over again? How do you do other moves? And basically, Midway had filed for bankruptcy, right? Which essentially means they ran out of money. Oh god. And as a result, THQ had... What the hell? Oh, yes. THQ had acquired Midway San Diego and turned them into THQ San Diego, and as a result that means that they had access to the assets, the code and the framework for TNA Impact. Now, instead of making a TNA Impact style WWE game, what they instead opted to do, which I kind of agree with, was to create the most over-the-top, insane wrestling game you can ever imagine in your life. And this is it. This is... I'm going to go for the most insane GTS of all time, making Cena do a flip. I don't know how to pin him though, so I might have to... Oh, LT. Oh, no, LT is to get out of the ring. I'm pretty sure that is the button to pin though. There we are. So if we pin him, I think I can also extend the pin bar by doing that, but unfortunately Cena kicks out. Yeah, this game is quite interesting, to say the least. Oh, I've got another signature ready to go. If I can get him back to his feet, I think I'll be able to hit a signature. I'm going to go for... Oh, this is a different signature this time. Going for the backhand slaps in the kick. This is the martial arts that Punk is somewhat known for. Oh, and he got right up. Got up right away. Did a typical no-sell, right? Oh, crossface. Oh, the crossface. We could win off the crossface here. Is he going to tap? No, he didn't tap out. That's unfortunate. DDT on the apron there. That's a lot of damage to Cena's big fat dome. It's not going to be enough to take out Cena, I don't think. Oh, it was. It was just enough to take out Cena. I feel like this game didn't do it. This match did not do it justice, like of how good this game is. But stay tuned, because we'll be playing more All Stars in the coming weeks, because we're getting pretty close to the time that I want to be doing a retrospective on it. So stay tuned in the coming weeks and you'll see more WWE All Stars. This is SmackDown versus Raw 2011. You may have seen a very slight glimpse into what this match is going to be. We are taking advantage of the new weapon system and the gameplay improvements to put the two of these guys not only in Night of Champions, which is the event coming up soon, but it is of course in a Hell in a Cell. CM Punk here is still using This Fire Burns, which is, well, to be fair, he's about to stop using that song very, very soon, but 2011 is probably a breakout year for Punk as he is starting the straight edge, well, not even starting, he's probably well into the straight edge society at this point. As he would say on TV, he would put your hand up to the TV screen and thank God for me, or something to that effect. CM Punk, of course, inciting mini riots at some arenas, like legitimately getting fans riled up with his depiction of a messianic anti-drug god complex in a way. He was just insanely good at this time, especially with the heel character, introducing Serena Deeb and Luke Gallows as the kind of bodyguard and well, not necessarily a mouthpiece, but they were just there to enhance the character, right, to enhance the storyline that they were going for with the straight edge society, and it was awesome stuff. It was really, really good. As a result, Punk had some really awesome matches in 2011, especially with the likes of Rey Mysterio. 2011, he must have had other matches as well. I do remember his feud with Rey Mysterio the most. He faced Alberto Del Rio a lot in that year as well, especially more towards the end, I guess. Of course, actually saying that, I'm kind of getting my years mixed up. 2011 is confusing because the games take part, like the game that came out, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, comes out at the end of 2010. So you're actually talking about the previous year when you're looking at this game. But saying that, 2011 is the summer of Punk. And yes, he faces The Big Show, Rey Mysterio. He has a little bit of R-Truth in there as well. He has a short stint with Bret Hart, not in a wrestling capacity, but yep, they're there. There is a John Cena match in there. 2011 was definitely a CM Punk year, that is for sure. And of course, I mean, how could we forget that 2011, I'm pretty sure it must have been the Money in the Bank match, right? Everyone talks about the amazing Money in the Bank match. I just can only think that was that year. I don't even see it listed here. Yeah, it's Money in the Bank 2011. CM Punk defeats John Cena. Title change, of course, in the Allstate Arena. 33 minutes. That's quite a long match for the time. And of course, that was like the biggest thing at the time. I remember that being such a big deal when that happened. Punk's storyline leading into that match. Well, not even just Punk. Cena was a part of it, but it was really all about Punk. His contract expiring, he was leaving, and that, you know, according to, you know, the dirt sheets, that was the legitimate story. I mean, that not a story, that's legitimate. Like, Punk's contract was expiring. According to Punk himself, if you believe him, then yes, his contract expired that night, and they hadn't worked out a new deal until basically like an hour before match time. So if you believe the story, Punk had started the show believing he was going to leave the company, and then he ended the show with the WWE Championship, and then they did the storyline where he left for well, I say it was a month. I really think it was only about 2 or 3 weeks, and then he returned to quite an annoying return. I feel like, because one, I feel like they didn't let it run its course, right? They let Punk appear at an independent. I remember. So he did some independent appearance and he generated some online buzz for sure. But I feel like there was this like tournament for the new WWE Championship, right? And Rey Mysterio had won it at the start of the night, and then Cena beat him and won the belt back at the end of the night, which meant that Rey Mysterio only held the WWE title for like 2 hours. And then CM Punk returned with a new, well, I say the new song, I think he'd already, oh no, he did, he returned with a new song. The Cult of Personality hadn't been used at that point. And he then, you know, squared off against Cena and held the belt up above their heads. But I just felt like it didn't have enough time, right? What? What? I barely, I know I was talking all through that match, but like, it wasn't even a finisher. What even ended the match? Well, it may have been lackluster. It may only get 1 Meltzer star. Perhaps every time that we play 2011, it will be an unsatisfying match. But regardless, the result is the result. John Cena wins the Hell in a Cell match. And that means that Cena is firmly again in the lead as we move into WWE 12. CM Punk returns in WWE 12 with the Cult of Personality. This is a really interesting time for CM Punk. I weirdly think he did the Nexus thing this year. I'm not really sure, but 2012, very good year for Punk. Also getting a chest tattoo, so he must have got the chest tattoo somewhere around 2011, perhaps. John Cena wearing the all red this year. I don't remember why he wore all red. Merchandising, I presume. Not a very good model for CM Punk, unfortunately, but Cena always has very good models, I feel like, in these games. Welcome to a new generation. I feel like I talk about this in every single in all games video, but WWE 12 changed the formula very slightly, I guess, adding in what was affectionately called the Predator technology. Hasn't aged very well, admittedly, but the Predator technology allowed them to update the game engine in a pretty substantial way, I feel like, and the way that the game plays is awesome, and the way the game looks, I think, is awesome. I think the character models in this year definitely take a step back, especially when compared to something like 2008 or 2009, but the lighting especially is a lot better. I think it's a lot more, you've got shadows under the wrestlers on the ring mat, and you also like better camera presentation. I think the camera is probably slightly too low. It probably needs to be lifted a little bit, but I do appreciate that they tried to mimic what WWE was doing at the time, especially with the camera angles. I don't know if we're going to see any, but if you do have a match with any camera cuts and special camera angles like this, you'll see that the camera angles that they choose are similar to what was kind of in real life at the time. Since starting the retrospective series and playing all these old games, it makes me feel old because I remember when this game came out, I was so excited and I played so much of it. But from 2012 onwards, I feel like these games do look quite similar. I do think, and I've said this before, that WWE 13, I think the stars aligned, right? WWE 13, I think, has such a unique vibe to it, especially with the Attitude Era stuff. It affects all the other game modes in the game. WWE 13 does feel different, but basically 12 is like the upgrade, right? If you're likening it to what is kind of happening now, WWE 12 is like the 2K22, right? The last game although it was good, but like 12 is a little bit better, right? Big gameplay improvements, big graphics improvements, big engine improvements. And then WWE 13 comes along. I'd probably liken that more to a 2K25 when your marketing, your gameplay and everything just starts aligning. You've got an amazing roster and the engine's starting to really improve upon itself. And then 2K14 comes out and it's very kind of sterile. I don't know. A lot of people like 14, and maybe I shouldn't rag on it, but I don't know how I feel about WWE 2K14 anyway. I mean, we're getting pretty close to covering 2K14 actually in the retrospective covers, in the retrospective videos, I should say. Maybe tune in for my full thoughts on 2K14. Saying that though, WWE 12 doesn't have any other major modes. I think it still has Story Designer. Maybe. It still has universe mode, and it's a pretty good universe mode from what I've played. It's the way that you actually unlock Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar returned in this game as a pre-order bonus before he even came back in WWE, I think. I think he was a pre-order bonus in the game before actually returning on TV. And what a weird time, right? What a strange time for Brock to come back to WWE. He had a couple matches with, I think he actually feuded with John Cena and Triple H and a couple other people, but it's just strange to think in 2012 that Brock would come back and then end up having, at the time I remember not enjoying the run, but as time has gone on, I still probably don't like the beginning of it. I don't think Brock knew what he was doing, right? Because he was trying to differentiate himself from being the original wrestler, because he was now former UFC World Heavyweight Champion. He was trying to be a bit more serious, a bit more different, but I feel like 2012 WWE wasn't ready for that kind of Brock Lesnar. And as time went on into the 10s, you know, 2016, 17, when Brock was doing like his unstoppable machine after he destroyed Cena, I think that was when Brock really came into his own. So it took a couple of years to get there. As I'm talking here, Punk went for the GTS, but Cena, I've got my brains in Brock Lesnar now. We're not going to be able to do a Brock Lesnar cover video, to be fair, because he's not coming back anytime soon. You never know. You never know. If anyone's going to bring him back, it would be the Saudi shows, which is actually really depressing when you think about it. You know, though, considering that, okay, Brock might have like bad history, right? But considering that WWE actively seems to be working with every terrible person under the sun, and just proving themselves on the weekly to be a terrible company behind, well, maybe not behind the scenes, but the parent company, TKO, proving to be a terrible company on the daily, it's not going to stop them from bringing someone back like a Brock Lesnar, especially when you're working with like a Logan Paul and you have all these horrible celebrities on your show that have done horrendous things in their past. I'm getting on my high horse. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be ranting about this. I feel bad for ranting over this as well. This has been a really competitive match. There's been a lot of back and forth. I think I saw an over under. Is that what it's called? I don't think that's what it's called. A throw over? I don't know. It's got a cool name. But we've had a very competitive match. Punk went for his GTS, which Cena then reversed, and I think Cena went for an attitude adjustment, which Punk also reversed. So we are seeing a very, very competitive match here, as I'm talking about how bad as a company TKO is. But this is quite a few years before TKO takes over the business. We're talking about 2012. This is a strange year for CM Punk, as I think he's stuck doing Nexus stuff. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's what he was doing this year. Or no, the Nexus stuff would have been before 2012. Oh, this is like Raw 1000. This is when he faces The Rock. He's facing The Big Show, John Cena, and wow, what a time. What a time. Ironically, actually, in 2012, Punk did actually face Cena at Night of Champions. I mean, I don't know why that surprises me, but it looks like as well that Punk and Cena probably had their most matches together in 2012, which makes sense considering they had their match at Money in the Bank 2011, and then I guess they would have a feud afterwards. Oh, of course, this is the Ryback era. So Ryback, I think, is a DLC character in 13, so maybe we'll talk about Ryback shortly after this huge attitude adjustment taking Punk down. To be fair, that could very well be it. 1, 2, no, Punk kicks out. Alright, well, this match is going longer, which means I'm going to have to talk about Ryback, and I don't want to say his name a third time because he might appear. Of course, Punk's annoyance with the company is very well documented. He wasn't so frustrated at this time, as I understand. I think there was definitely some frustration in 2011 when he was going to leave, but he ended up staying, mostly because of the contract negotiations, and probably the title run probably helped a fair bit. But moving into 2013 and 14, the frustrations definitely started to build. CM Punk, oh my god, PM Bunk? Don't know what I'm trying to say here. CM Punk hitting the, I thought he was going for the Anaconda Vice there. He's already hit it in this match. He hit a second GTS. He hit a GTS there regardless. I thought he was going for the Anaconda Vice, but he went for a kind of T-bone suplex and overhead, and then he tried some kind of octopus stretch, but unfortunately Cena was in the ropes, as Cena also trying to out wrestle Punk here. I almost said something else entirely. I thought we were going to see the 5 moves of doom there, but we ended up seeing just the backdrop. We're not going to see the 5 knuckle shuffle, sadly. But there's still time. There is still time. Cena going for a submission, but Punk able to break out in the late stages of this match. I think Punk's actually looking pretty good, though, as opposed to Cena, who's holding his chest. Oh my god, that was a free count. I wasn't even paying much attention. What? This is what happened earlier. He won the match with like a nothing move, and I wasn't paying any attention. Oh god, this is what I get for recording late at night. John Cena scoring another win here at Night of Champions, which puts him firmly in the lead here, 4 against 2, which means Punk's got quite an uphill battle as we are halfway through this. Maybe we're not halfway through this. Anyway, on to the next game. This is WWE 13, and CM Punk is your WWE Spinner Champion. Not much to say about that belt, but at least the model is good. The model actually looks like a decent size as well. It's like pretty accurate, to be honest. In the previous games, it always looked way too small, but that belt model actually kind of looks better than the current ones. You can actually see the definition in the belt as well, so kudos to THQ, man. They made some pretty good games. Although CM Punk might be the cover athlete for WWE 13, never forget who the main guy in the whole company is. Of course, it's the greatest of all time, wearing super green with the green crowd lighting as well. It's time to go to work. John Cena in the house. So this is WWE 13 with a non-copyrighted version of Charles Robinson, the referee, which is really funny to me, actually hilarious. Credit to the game. I think it's really cool that they were able to basically remove the HUD from these games. I think it really does help the look of the game to make it look more kind of quote-unquote authentic. I think it actually does look a little bit more authentic when there is no HUD on the screen, like no bars and stamina and finishers and all that. If you are playing the game, though, if you do have the option to turn on a little bar underneath your character that tells you whether you've got a finisher or not, to be fair, the bottom stuff in the current games doesn't bother me too much, but it's just an observation that I do quite like the clean look of these games, and they were going for a more realistic look. Talking of more realistic looks, I think the character models and the lighting does look pretty good in WWE 13. I really do think the stars aligned for this game, right? I don't know why, but just the roster, the Attitude Era, the vibes, the game modes, just everything except GM mode is here. If this game had GM mode, it would be like the most perfect WWE game probably ever made to me. I know a lot of people really like 2K14, and there's a lot of newer fans who talk about things like 2K23, 22, and that's totally fair. You are allowed to have your wrong opinions. WWE 2K13, 2K13? WWE 13 is like one of the best WWE games made, I think. And it's up there with like Here Comes the Pain, in my opinion. Maybe not Here Comes the Pain in terms of fun, gameplay fun, but like the roster's better than Here Comes the Pain. Graphically, it's better than Here Comes the Pain, but then that just comes with time anyway. This wasn't even what I was going to talk about. I'm just ranting now. What I wanted to talk about was the fact that CM Punk actually has some realistic tattoos this time. They've figured out that, hey, instead of putting CM Punk's real tattoos on there, we can put all the non-copyright tattoos on him, but there's also a way to put like a fake Pepsi logo on him and a fake G.I. Joe tattoo. And it's cool that they were able to do that, because I think it does add, even though it is like not the Pepsi logo, I appreciate, and it's not the G.I. Joe logo either, whatever the Cobra is on his shoulder. I do appreciate that they tried, and that's the main thing. They tried. Talking of trying here, Cena with the submission on Punk. Punk right next to the ropes, though. I actually think Punk could have just rolled that into a pin, but he didn't. He was able to break it up as Cena went for the clothesline. Punk reverses it into a neck breaker. So if we were talking about 2012 and 2013, I think both Cena and Punk were kind of interchangeably locked into these fights this year. In fact, CM Punk showing off the new comeback maneuvers in this game. I think he's doing a comeback there, and he managed to pull that one off. He's just going to go straight for the pin off of that, but he only gets a 1 count, so not doing very well for him there. Yeah, Punk and Cena definitely faced each other a little bit in 2013. They were definitely embroiled in a feud based on The Rock, because The Rock came back at the Royal Rumble where The Shield debuted. CM Punk lost the WWE title to The Rock in some gnarly booking. and then it led to Cena versus The Rock in the twice in a lifetime main event at WrestleMania. And I think as a result, this actually led to a lot of Punk's frustrations, right? Because I think he was injured a little bit off of some of the stuff that was going on at the time. He didn't like dropping the belt to The Rock. I don't think he actually minded dropping the belt to The Rock. I think it was just the way that he ended up doing it. The Shield debuting to help Punk didn't really turn out the way that Punk had hoped either, because the Shield ended up doing their own stuff away from Punk. Ultimately, this led to CM Punk not main eventing, but he challenged The Undertaker that year for the streak. And ended up doing a really awesome storyline, I thought, because Paul Bearer had just passed away and they had the opportunity, with the family's blessing, although it did get a little controversial at some points, with the family's blessing, they were able to do a lot of the CM Punk Undertaker storyline as a tribute to Paul Bearer, and actually include Paul Bearer in some of the, even though, posthumously, even though he passed away, they were able to include him as part of the storyline, and I think that was really awesome. And ultimately it meant that Punk lost. He didn't beat the streak, especially with some of the horrible stuff he was saying and doing about Paul Bearer. I think it was great that The Undertaker did manage to get his comeback and beat CM Punk and keep that streak going for at least another year. And ultimately, I actually think that CM Punk's match with The Undertaker might be The Undertaker's last great WrestleMania match. I think Undertaker did have an amazing match with John Cena at one of the WrestleManias, but it was only a couple minutes long, and it was very much like a greatest hits of Undertaker and John Cena, whereas Punk and Taker Taker and Cena, but I do think that they had an amazingly competitive match, and I thought they did some really cool stuff, and they should be proud of that. But I know that Punk has a bit of a bugbear about that WrestleMania match with The Undertaker, but I don't know why Punk was so offended at facing The Undertaker at that WrestleMania. I would have taken it as an honor, but I'm a mark, right? I'm a fan, so who am I to say what I would have done in that situation? Again, the whole theme of this episode has been random talking points and talking over what has been a very great and competitive match. So Punk and Cena are doing an amazing competitive match here. Punk kicking out finishers, Cena blocking finishers, Punk even bleeding off the 5-knuckle shuffle, I think, or maybe some kicks. Still kicking out at 1. I'm hoping we don't get into that other 2K14 situation where the stats are wrong. I'm going to have to look for the game files to see if the stats have been adjusted again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I caught that one this time. Still not an amazing finish, by the way, but Cena winning with the Luthez press, busting Punk open even more. Cena with another decisive win. I have just realized, though, that Punk is no longer bleeding, weirdly enough. Cena leading the charge. More than halfway over this tournament, Cena leading with 5 wins now. Punk is not in a good position. I don't know if he can come back from this. Man, I have to say, I am so impressed that every single game except from 2008, basically at least 2010 onwards, has had Night of Champions as a pay-per-view arena in every single game. It seems to be a mainstay. I didn't even realize it was a mainstay, but it's just never ending, apparently. Here is Hoodie CM Punk, and he's carrying one half of the horrendous tag team championships. Who the hell was he tag team champion with at this time? Pass. Who was he tag team champion with? That's crazy. Somebody in the comments will tell me. Everyone's great at telling me random history facts that I seem to have forgotten. I can remember lots of things, but I seemingly can't remember title reigns very well. This is WWE 2K14, and do you see what I mean? Like, the WWE 12, 13, and 14 all look very similar. And to be fair to 2K, right? 2K14, technically not a 2K game. If you remember the history, if you don't remember the history, I'll just straight up tell you the history. This might be your first time learning it, but basically THQ had went bankrupt, much like Midway, as I was explaining earlier in All Stars. THQ had gone bankrupt, and mostly because they were releasing this stupid game called U-Draw, which ended up with like massive amounts of e-waste and just nobody wanted to buy the plastic peripherals anymore. The Wii era had kind of come to a close, and people didn't really want props with their games anymore. But of course, THQ published, I feel like it was U-Draw. Maybe it wasn't U-Draw. It was some sort of alternative to U-Draw where there was like some tablet controller that was specific for the game that nobody wanted anyway. Regardless, my brain is super fuzzy. It's obviously very late at night. Basically, THQ ran out of money and they had to sell themselves essentially, and they eventually became THQ Nordic, which is what we know them as now. And they're the game, you know, they're the guys that end up creating Darksiders 3 and Darksiders Genesis and Saints Row, whatever the fourth, that reboot was, Saints Row was called. TLDR, the license right for WWE got shipped out to various other companies, and 2K was the one that picked them up. And there was a lot of chat that like EA was going to pick them up, and a lot of other companies were interested in buying the WWE license for video games. I think EA was one of the top leading guys to take WWE, and I'm so glad that it wasn't EA, because as annoying as frustrating as 2K can be, I do think it would actually be a lot worse under the hands of other companies. With that being said, the point I'm trying to get to was THQ went bankrupt during the development of this game. So as a result, THQ and, you know, the associate, you know, business decision makers made the decision to make this game and make the choices that are in 2K14 for things like 30 years of WrestleMania and Defeat the Streak mode and whatever other game modes are in the game that I can't remember. So THQ and the devs, or rather I should say Yuke's, are building this game. Yuke's is no longer funding and publishing it. However, 2K steps in and 2K ends up funding the rest of the project. So we're very lucky to have gotten 2K14, if I'm being completely honest, because halfway through development, the money literally dried up. The THQ had gone bankrupt and there was no more money. For 2K to step in and finish development on, you know, or rather, the better way to phrase this is that Yuke's were able to pull this game out of their ass in just a few months, I think is actually really more impressive. So 2K14 and 13, WWE 13 and 2K14 are very similar. They actually have a very good reason for being similar, mostly because of the reasons I just explained, that TLDR, THQ went bankrupt halfway through the development of this game and 2K picked up the slack. CM Punk with Cena on his shoulders, GTS outside of the ring. Cena looking very uncomfortable there for a split second. If you have seen, wow, that was a really weird stutter that I can't get my words out. If you have seen the Cena Cody match, was it Cena Cody? It was Cena Cody. I'm pretty sure this is the WrestleMania one, right? If you had seen that, then you'll have known that 2K14, for some reason, my game save had adjusted the stats on the characters, which made the match go on forever. It went on for like an hour, and everyone kicked out over a million finishers. You'll be happy to know that not for everyone, but for at least these two guys, I have reset the stats. So they shouldn't be invincible this time. They should actually be reasonably statted up, and they should be taking reasonable damage. And by the looks of it, I think they are. It looks like they've got some fatigue on the go. Is Cena going for an no, he's not. He's going for a GTS. Oh, of course, Cena's gonna botch. Cena busting Punk open with the GTS, and Cena getting the win by mocking CM Punk with the GTS. Holy moly, that is so offensive, and I cannot. I'll be honest, I can imagine real heel Cena doing this and getting like insane heat from that. I really hope that this is the finish at Night of Champions. That would be insane. I mean, at this point, it's probably a given that Cena has won the tournament, but regardless, we forge ahead to WWE 2K15, which is, of course, CM Punk's final appearance for quite a few years. Welcome to Night of Champions, apparently in Boston, Massachusetts, which is Cena's hometown. Does that mean that we're going to see Cena get a win in his hometown? Who knows? But I have chosen for Cena to be wearing his his Money in the Bank 2011 outfit because he's fighting Punk, and I thought, screw it, why not? And the best in the world, his default outfit is already the Money in the Bank 2011 outfit. Funny story about CM Punk in this game, which we'll get into shortly, is that he'd already left the company by the time this game came out, and we'll talk about that more, well, right now. So one of the key features of this game, or one of one of the key game modes, God, I'm gonna keep that in because I just don't know what I don't know what I'm saying. One of the key game modes this year, there we are, I finally said it, is the 2K Showcase mode. I don't know if they called it the 2K Showcase mode, but it's definitely as a 2K Showcase mode, and it was revolving around two feuds. One of the feuds is CM Punk versus John Cena. Well, not so much CM Punk, John Cena, but just the Summer of Punk, right? And Cena is a big part of that. Another feud that plays into the 2K Showcase is the Triple H versus Shawn Michaels feud from 2002, 2003-ish, that kind of era. Now, obviously, these decisions are all made ahead of time, right? Game development takes a long time, and the decisions for, spoiler, 2K25 is out now. 2K26 is obviously being developed. I would bet good money that the decisions around 2K27 are already made. Game development is a really strange process, and they will have already started pre-production on 2K27, or there will be like a team of people working on 2K27 now, or at least a version of it. And I find that really weird to think about, but that's just how game development works, right? So what I'm trying to say is, again, weird tangents. CM Punk had left the company in 2014, I guess. It was January 2014. He got eliminated from the Royal Rumble and never came back. He got eliminated in the Royal Rumble by Kane. He got pulled over the top rope by an already eliminated Kane. And the storyline was going to be going into WrestleMania, Punk would fight Kane. And apparently this was just the last straw for Punk. And he actually said in the podcast that we don't talk about anymore that Punk meant no disrespect to Kane. It was just that for the time, Kane wasn't doing anything. Punk was a major star. He was just coming off a major title run, and he didn't understand why he would be relegated to just, even the previous year, facing The Undertaker in a pretty high-profile match, all things considered, going into WrestleMania 30, to WrestleMania 30 of all things, a major milestone, to just be facing Kane in essentially what is a throwaway match. I think Punk knew the writing was on the wall. He was already quite injured. He was severely injured at the time, and he just knew that he just didn't want to waste his time on Kane. So, according to the story, is that he got eliminated from the Royal Rumble, left in a mad huff, rightfully so, in a bad mood. Oh my God, Cena with the attitude adjustment. I'm mid-story, but if this is how it ends, oh my God, Cena is just wrecking house. Cena's just winning every single match. TLDR, Punk gets eliminated from the Royal Rumble. He goes into Raw the next night. He gets told the plans for Raw, and he's going to fight Kane and all this. He apparently shakes the hand of Triple H and Vince and then just leaves. And he left for, well, I guess 10 odd years. John Cena with another very decisive win here in 2K15, and we now know that CM Punk will take his ball and go home. Nothing will happen for the next 10 years, but we are going to pick up in WWE 2K24. Welcome to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. But we are here at Night of Champions. It has literally just occurred to me while creating this match that Night of Champions is not happening this weekend, and it's actually King of the Ring. But the branding is exactly the same, right? The branding is the same, the graphics are the same, the arena is the same. I don't know why I thought it was Night of Champions. I'm not really watching right now, so maybe that's on me. I don't know. But imagine that for the last, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but imagine for the last half hour, maybe longer, that every time I've said Night of Champions, imagine that I have said King of the Ring, and that way I'm not a complete idiot. Anyway, with that being said, CM Punk returning in WWE 2K24 as a DLC character. I'm really glad, considering that he came back at the end of the year, they were able to just kind of sneak him in as a DLC character in this game is really, really cool. And it's time to go to work. Once again, the greatest of all time arrives in actual Saudi Arabia this time to face CM Punk in WWE 2K24. Wow, this game has a ramp camera as well. I like it. Although, is that toggle info button going to be there the whole time? No, I can hide it. Let's go. And we have real refs, as well. It's actually pretty crazy to jump from 2K15 to 2K24. Although the graphics difference is, there is a graphical difference between them, but like, it isn't maybe as big as you'd think. It's not as, definitely not as noticeable as you might imagine, considering the almost 10-year gap between them. Cena with the stunner, the rebound stunner. I don't know what to call it. Springboard stunner? I don't know. Either way, a move bequeathed to him by Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, actually, I think he just started doing it, I guess. But Austin famously said to Cena, if you're going to do it, make sure that you actually pin people. And Cena, I think, is yet to still beat anyone off of that move. Cena with the Hurricane Rana, which is a move that he does from time to time. I haven't seen him do it in a while, mind you, but Cena now obviously being full heel is definitely not doing any of these flashy moves. Credit to the visual concepts guys, whoever makes the move sets for the characters, because I think Cena's move set in these games is actually fairly accurate for the most part. CM Punk's character model in this game feels weird to me, right? I don't hate it. Like, he's definitely gone through the same, time and scanning process that the other characters have had, but I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. Maybe we'll see what it looks like in the next game as well, if it's at all improved in 2K25. I feel like it's had a very little touch up, but I guess we'll find out in a couple of minutes here. Obviously, huge gameplay difference between 2K15 and what a reversal there from CM Punk. But yeah, the almost 10-year difference between 2K24 and 2K25. In fact, it probably will be a 10-year difference, because 2K15, the wording convention, the naming convention screwed up. So the 2K15 was released in 2014, whereas 2K24 was actually released in 2024. So it probably is a 10-year gap essentially between the two games. I'm rambling on, but as I was saying, graphically there isn't a huge upgrade. You can definitely see the difference, but it's maybe not as much as you might think. Gameplay wise though, they are completely night and day, completely different games. One is definitely better than the other. Going through these old games though, I don't hate some of them. I mean, things like 2K16 have been able to give us some really awesome, like 2K16 and 17 have given us some really awesome matches to watch and experience as part of these pay-per-view and this match in all games videos. But unfortunately for Punk, he wasn't around at that time, so we weren't able to use them in this video. But it is interesting nonetheless to see the 10-year gap between 15 and 24, to see just how different these games are, really. And in some cases, they're not different at all. I would bet good money that there are lines of code that have been written on, 2K14 that are probably still in the game and probably still run something. In fact, to be fair, I genuinely think there are some elements to the game engine that are still retrospectively added in from the even older games. I genuinely think there are still animations in the game from Here Comes the Pain and some of the other games at that time. So I really do think that there are elements to the PS2 games that are still very much in the 2K games now. And isn't that crazy to think about, that there might be elements of, the elements of the platform, right? Elements of the game behind the scenes, the code that builds the game. There are elements in the background that are perhaps written by PS2 standards that are still in the game now. Isn't that insane? Well, stupid rambling aside, Cena hits one move of doom, he hits the second move of doom. Punk don't throw the punch, he does, which means he gets hit with the backdrop, is put in perfect position for a pinfall apparently. Nope, Punk absolutely kicks out, rightfully so. Cena was in perfect position there to get the 5-knuckle shuffle and instead went for the pin, which, to be fair, not a bad move. If you're in a position to win a match, you should absolutely take it. Punk with the signature. That was his signature in All Stars. We saw that earlier on, but it's not going to be enough to take down Cena right now. CM Punk taking the action outside the ring. We've got a helicopter view here of an Anaconda Vice outside of the ring. Perhaps Punk trying to get the count-out victory there, but I mean, I think Stephanie is only at a 2 count, so yeah, it sounds like a 3, so I don't think she's anywhere near a count out for Punk, but I appreciate what he was trying to do there. We got an up close angle here in the corner as the two competitors battle it out near the ring steps. Punk lifting Cena up for the GTS, almost knocking Cena into the crowd. Cena out like a light. I think Punk might actually win this by count out. That would be, I think that's a 6 if Punk doesn't leave the ring. Cena's not moved. Oh, he's moving now. I don't know what number that was. Is that a 9? Oh my god, Punk won just barely. The GTS outside the ring was just enough time. It was just enough time. Well, CM Punk getting the win in any way he can. It may not be a decisive victory, but it's a victory nonetheless. He won't be able to even up now, but really it's the last game that matters. 2K25. Who wins the King of the Ring main event? Oh, I broke the music in the update. That's why there's no music playing. But this is what it all has come down to. CM Punk versus... Oh god, I don't have my... There we are. My prompter wasn't on the screen either. This is what's all come down to. CM Punk versus John Cena at King of the Ring. We are here in WWE 2K25 to determine... Well, we already know that Cena's won the full tournament, but that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that Punk can't pull out the big win in WWE 2K25. Yeah, Punk's model is definitely better in 2K25. I was saying in the previous game that, you know, it's cool that he's in there for DLC, but I really think his model looks better in this game. Although this man has turned his back on the WWE Universe, of course, this is not an accurate entrance by any means, but he is now turned heel. I don't have a heel attire for him just now because my game is modded and I didn't get around to updating his attire. I don't know why in fact, I really don't know why Cena's music played and Punk's didn't. I'm going to have to look that one up. I don't know what kind of weird bug I may have ran into there, but... Regardless, we have right out the gate here, we've got a hot start. They were, I think Cena was going for a monkey flip and unable to capitalize, but we have some really exciting chain wrestling going here. Referee Stephanie Deshawn, I think her name is. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but anyway, Stephanie there. We weirdly, I didn't choose her, but we had her for the previous game as well, WWE 2K24. I do feel like with 2K20, oh, Punk with a cheap shot, that is not very nice. Cena's supposed to be the heel here, and Punk's the one playing mean. I do feel like with 2K25, you never really know what kind of game you're going to get. Like, I feel like in some of the other games that we've had, like the Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, the ladder match was really, really fun and exciting. And the Cody Cena one was also really exciting, but it felt like it wasn't too different from the 2K24 match, whereas here, you know, I feel like we're getting a bit more of a kind of chain wrestling, a bit more of a slightly slower vibe to it. You never really know what you're going to get with 2K25. I feel like I think the AI is in a really good place with these games, that each match actually does kind of play it differently depending on the style, which is really, really cool. Sorry, I probably cut that on a pinfall. It didn't end the match. Oh, that was so cool. Punk going for the clothesline, but unable to get the hit on there, which meant Cena can hit him with the comeback backdrop down. I thought Cena was going to go for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but decided against it. At least he didn't go for the pin this time, although he may have cost himself there, as Punk going for the Anaconda Vice, which I can only presume is a signature move. I think Cena's got them big Anaconda arms, though. He's got the 24-inch pythons, so he's not going to be able to, or Punk, pronouns pal, Punk not being able to tap out Cena going for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Punk able to get the reversal there, getting the kick onto Cena's big bald spot. I don't know if that puts Punk in a position to have a finisher or even do a comeback. I'm not really sure, but he's going to try. Punk with another Irish whip. I'm not really sure what he's going for here. He's going for another Anaconda Vice. To be fair, though, the pressure is on Cena now. He could tap. Very well could tap. I mean, I think Punk let that one go. I was going to say, I mean, oh, Punk coming up short there. That's unfortunate. Well, what I was trying to say is that I feel like Punk is actually on the offensive here, and I thought Punk was in a good position, but unfortunately letting go of that Anaconda Vice could have been a major mistake here for Punk. Cena with the immediate attitude adjustment, that kind of came out of nowhere. To be honest, that could be it. That is a 2 count. Punk just kicking out at 2. That was like a 2 point, well, it was probably a bit less than a 2.9. 2.5, let's say. Cena calling Punk back to his feet, though. I don't know what Cena's going for. Oh, that was a really nice cutter there from Cena. Not something you see very often from the greatest of all time. But hey, he always likes to pull out some random moves here and there, right? The battle has been taken outside of the ring as the referee's count has reached 3. This has now reached 4, about to hit 5. This worked out really well for Punk in the previous game. He was able to get a count out win over Cena with the GTS outside the ring. Cena back in the ring though, not looking good for Punk. If Punk can't get back in the ring by the count of 10, he loses. Oh no, Stephanie giving him just that little bit of wiggle room there. Stephanie letting him back in the ring at the count of 8. It could have been a 10 though. Cena looks like he's prepping Punk for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Punk reversing it in the most traditional way possible just by standing up. Punk able to reverse into a GTS, taking Cena down and straight into the pin. Not any time wasted. I thought we were going to see the winner there. No winner as of yet. Punk, of course, is bleeding as well from a errant corner post run-in earlier. You didn't get to see it, unfortunately, but yes, Punk did hit the corner post and was busted open as a result. But that's not going to stop him here hitting a second GTS. I mean, isn't that maybe that's the third? But that's got to be it for Cena. I don't see him kicking out of another GTS, and he didn't. CM Punk, not going to say a definitive win, but definitely a major win here in this tournament. CM Punk winning the final match in the video, WWE 2K25. Is this a prediction for the weekend? Well, you're just going to have to watch King of the Ring this weekend and find out if this is a prediction or a spoiler. So that's going to be us for today. Thank you so much for watching. Are you excited for it's not Night of Champions. Are you excited for King and Queen of the Ring? What is your favorite match of the show? And do you agree with the prediction here that CM Punk is going to win the main event and potentially end Cena's reign of terror with the WWE Championship? If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel out as we're continuing to grow. And if you want to see more, let me know in the comments down below. With that being said, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the show at the weekend if you're watching it. And if you're not, I totally respect that. That's going to be us for today. Bye for now.